just in terms of approach and maybe personality, for lack of a better word, what do you find the differences between the music scene there and the music scene here? Or is there not one?
There's a huge difference. Yeah. I think there's a huge difference in New York and Nashville. And I personally think they're very complementary, at least for my own purposes in life. They were very complementary. Because I feel like in New York, I feel like it was really hard work, and it was all about chops. And like, it was just like, it's just constant. Like, I just gigged so much. Like, I just did so many gigs up there because you just had to do it to make rent. You have to like play every day.
What kind of, not to derail your answer here, but what kind of gigs were those generally for you?
Mix of stuff like jazz clubs, fancy hotels, private events.
Okay.
Weird Bushwick stuff, like hippie parties, like there was all this different, like it was very diverse community. Like I hosted a jam in a diner, and I also threw parties in this loft, but then I also would do like fancy,
that's really cool,
swanky hotel bars, and I don't know, anything you could get your hands on basically. Yeah. But because of that, it's like the cats up there like just get really good because you just play so much. But you also have to play so much. So there's not much time to like get together and jam or like rehearse these arrangements or like, stuff you do down here. And down here, I felt like I started playing with people, and like I remember I'm so used to like showing up at a gig and just like being ready to kind of lead the gig, and like no one knows the music and everyone's gonna use their ears. And I remember when I first started playing down here and hiring cats, and like they'd show up with like charts, and I was like, "You listen to the songs?" And they're like, "Yeah." And they're like you know the songs? Like it's just like not only listen to them, they actually like wrote notes down.
You guys are professionals.
And it's like in New York, it's like it's not even like a disrespect thing. It's just like people work so hard that like they can't afford to do that. Like they don't have time to rehearse.
And it's just a different culture too. Yeah. I mean, we had my buddy Rye Bradley on a few weeks ago, and we were kind of talking about a similar thing where, when you're gigging that much and that just becomes your daily routine, you don't have the time to sit down with a piece of music like that. And you don't have the time that you might want to practice in the different facets that you want to practice. Yeah. I mean, when music is your life in that way, it is all encompassing. It does take over everything. So
yeah. And I think the thing, it's like here's what I always say, compare the people as a band leader when I'm hiring people from the different scenes. It's like the New Yorkers have to use their ears because they didn't have time to practice. But because of that, they have really good ears and use their ears. And then in Nashville, I find a lot of them that will learn the songs is great, but sometimes it's hard to get them to use their ears. So it's like in that, like, and not meaning that they can't. No, like I find people who I'm like, I know that they can use their ears, but they're so glued to the chart that I'm like, hey, we're not doing that. Yeah. Like, or like, just like, follow me, just trust me, or
Brian knows from playing just about every gig with me of my stuff I've done in the last decade that I'm a use your ears kind of guy.
Yeah. Yeah, like, well, everything has plus and minus, right? So in New York, everyone has these great ears, but what's frustrating is sometimes I'm like, hey, could you like read the chart?
Or learn the song.
This one has a bit of an arrangement. Like, could you not just wing it?
I personally hate playing that way because you have to focus so much on just like, okay, what's coming next?
Yeah.
Like, what
there's definitely a balance there.
Yeah, well, so that's why I say they're complementary.
I like being prepared enough to where I don't even have to think about what comes next, and I can just kind of like lose myself in whatever I'm playing.
Yeah, I really do think there was a balance.
It makes it hard
to
do that when you're kind of doing like a last minute thing you didn't have time to prepare for.
Yeah, that's why I say for my own like needs, it's the complement of the both is perfect. Like it's a sweet spot for me because I think I've learned from my New York years and I've learned from my Nashville years. And now I feel like I'm in a space that I'm really enjoying where I'm like, trying to find musicians who I know are willing to learn the tune so we can do exactly what you said. It's like, inside the tune so that then you can play within the tune and it just makes for more complex music.
That's the magic.
That's why I love the two. Like I love, a lot of times my bands I feel like are ex-New Yorkers and Nashville people, like mixing the two it's so perfect to me.
That clip was pretty good, right? Not bad, pretty good. All right, here's the thing. Click on another one, watch that one, and then subscribe to our channels.